Welcome back to another episode on the MOD Balls page. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Utah Jazz. What up, Utah? Because I know if you listening to this, you most likely a Utah Jazz fan because ain't nobody else gonna listen to Utah Jazz content. So if you a Utah Jazz fan and you trying to get into content, let my analysis on your team show you how much I know and let you dive into my other episodes because we're gonna be talking a lot in today's episode. We're gonna be talking about every single player, do this for every single team. We're gonna start this off with Colin Sexton, who, yeah, I know in the depth chart he's labeled as the shooting guard. Keontae's labeled at the point guard. Keontae handles the ball more. I understand that, but Keontae George, I've been watching him since college. He's a shooting guard. The Kings or the Jazz, I should say. I'm sorry, the Jazz. They're just trying to see the amount of upside he has and what he can be. And they're just trying to like give him lead opportunity as a rookie so he could grow, similar to what the Spurs were doing with Jeremy Sohan. So when he does become a number two option, it's easier for him. Colin Sexton, though, yeah, I think Colin Sexton's problem in the NBA is that he could only play point guard. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys that could only play point guard, kind of like Tyrese Maxey. He could only play point guard. I don't think those guys can play any other position. And Keontae George, I think he's a combo guard that's versatile. He could play the one and the two. You're correct about that, but I think he's more similar to a Devin Booker than a point guard. You know what I mean? I think he's a two. I think he's a secondary ball handler. Keontae George is pretty good. Last year, I don't think he'll be as inefficient as he was last season. I think he was asked to play something that he won't be asked to be his whole career, but he showed that he's capable of. He showed that he's decently capable of being a shot creator. Colin Sexton had an amazing year last season. Talk of the town, man. We got Laurie Markkinen, um, going with that max deal, which oof. We're gonna see how that works for Utah. That means that he won't be getting traded this season. He will be locked in over next summer. I don't think why should we worry about Laurie Markkinen trades? Let's talk about what it means for the Jazz because man, Danny Ainge does not ever make moves, and I think the Jazz this season, I don't know where they're gonna land. You know what I mean? The pick range. I know that they have the Thunder have their pick protected somehow. I don't know what the protections on it are exactly. I think if the I want to say no matter what, if the Jazz are in the top 10ish, I think it's like a top 10 oriented pick. I'm talking about it so much that I may as well just like uh search it up, right? Thunder Utah Jazz pick 2025 it will be. It's like it's yeah, top 10. The Jazz gave up a top 10 protected pick to get rid of Derek Favors. This year they avoided giving up that pick, but yeah, in 2024 they avoided giving it up, but now they have to give it up. It was a salary dump for Derek Favors. So like, do you want a salary dump for Derek Favors being the reason that you don't get Cooper Flag? Are you a playoff team? Like, what are you this season? I don't know. But all I know is Laurie Markin is going to be here unless he's hurt. You know what I mean? So, like, the Jazz, they have to, they, I don't know. They have a top 10 protected pick. So they have to bottom out. But they have Laurie Markkinen who, like, he's going to win you a couple games, maybe more than you want him to. You know what I mean? Colin Sexton is good. Keontae George is good. Taylor Hendricks last season, he ended off the year so strong that Walker Kessler's on the trade block because, we want Taylor Hendricks in the lineup, and John Collins at the five gives us spacing. You know what I mean? And it's a cool lineup. The Utah Jazz are just a fun team trying out stuff. But as a fun team trying out stuff, you want your pick. You want your pick, and if they land in that 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 11 to 14 range, that would be a doomsday because that means they didn't make the playoffs and they didn't get their pick. That would be a horrible, worst scenario for them. But if they make the playoffs, I mean, I guess you're cool with losing your pick this year. Maybe the Jazz are making a playoff push because their team is deep, but like in the West, I don't think that's happening. So like this is a team that I do think is gonna land in the top 10, and they're gonna have Larry Marketing on their team for another year, just having a max contract. So I wonder how that's gonna work. Maybe the plan is to have Laurie Marketing be the no matter which star you get, he fits. You know what I mean? Laurie Marketing is a super Michael Porter Jr. You know what I mean? He is the upgraded Pokemon version of Michael Porter Jr. You know what I mean? Like he is like that. So anyone that you get is gonna fit next to Lowry. Just who is it gonna be? Hopefully somebody hits because Jordan Clarkson off the bench. You know he's getting older. I get you can let him go. He's gonna win you too many games to where you're gonna be flirting with that 11 to 14 range, or you're scared to be, or I would be scared of at least. Like I want to bottom out if I'm this team. Uh, Jason Preston, when I be watching the Jazz, he be giving some minutes, man. Bryce ain't bad. Walker Kessler, like I said, great rookie season. Even last year, in my opinion, he was still solid to me, man. Like he's a sophomore, man, and this is a bad team. You know what I mean? But Taylor Hendricks did come in and played pretty well, also. So I'm cool with that. But Walker Kessler, we'll see what the Jazz do with him. They could keep him if they trade him, I guess, especially for like 2 firsts. I mean, that's not the worst thing. I ain't gonna lie. 2 firsts for Orchestra, go ahead and do it. You know, I ain't gonna lie. But this is a team that's just reloading, trying to see who's the next star player available. I guess. I wonder. I wonder where the Jazz go with this. I wonder what Danny Ainge is cooking. No matter what, though, I do agree that Laurie Markkinen is gonna fit any star player. We got Drew Eubanks, and the biggest part of this video, if you stayed here for long enough, this is the best part of the video, and I probably should have talked about it sooner. The draft prospects. They had 3 first-round picks this season, and we're going to start it off with Isaiah Collier, who was the second first-round pick. I believe he was like 30th overall pick. I remember doing a mock draft, and I was like, why do people have Collier going in the 20s? And then I did a mock draft and had him going like 30. You know what I mean? Isaiah Collier is one of the better players in the draft, but he, like I said, Colin Sexton, he only plays one position. Isaiah Collier is one of those guys that I think could only play point guard. You know what I mean? He's listed at 6'2", but my opinion on Isaiah Collier will change a lot depending on if he could be a combo guard or not, because I think that he's only a point guard. But if he's 6'5", like I'm seeing some places, look, the whole time I've been watching Isaiah Collier, I've known him to be 6'2". If he's 6'5", look, Jazz fans, I keep calling y'all Kings fans because I just got done recording the Kings video. Check that out if you want to after this. Jazz fans, though, if you think, or if you find out that Isaiah Collier is taller than what I'm saying he is, all that means is I think even higher of him, because I already think high of him. I think he's a great playmaker. I think he's great at getting downhill and creating opportunities for his teammates off of that. And he knows that some players know that their scoring creates problems and bends the defense. Isaiah Collier sees that, but he's just not accurate and he turns the ball over a lot. I think that's something that you could fix pretty easily. You know what I mean? I think just the game getting slower, I think might just be what it takes for him, to be honest. And then shooting is his other problem. Shooting is something else that I think you could fix. The 2 problems with his game is just being like, hey, if he's a good basketball player, he's gonna thrive with the Jazz, honestly, because him and Keontae George, with how Isaiah Collier plays, if he's knocking down his shots and not turning the ball over with what he does, bending the defense and scoring downhill, I think Isaiah Collier has sneaky upside, man. I think Isaiah Collier has like low end all-star like type. You know what I mean? Like if he could be a look, Isaiah Collier, he's like a boomer bust at this range. You know what I mean? Isaiah Collier could really come out and be a real nice player. Reminds me of Eric Bledsoe if he doesn't add that shot. You know what I mean? Earlier I said Colin Sexton could only play point guard. Similar thoughts of Isaiah Collier, similar thoughts of Eric Bledsoe, similar thoughts of Tyrese Maxey. Those small guards that could only play point guard and aren't the greatest playmakers, but they can play make pretty well. Like I understand Isaiah Collier turns the ball over a lot because he just look. I think he could fix that. I think he can fix that. I think that's a weakness a lot of players end up fixing. So if Isaiah Collier does that, hey, that boy is tough. The next guy we got is Cody Williams. That boy C-Dub is a Swiss Army knife. C-Dub is gonna come in there and he's gonna provide height and size, three and defense. Like literally, my player comps, I would compare him to his brother, honestly. I know how lazy that sounds. Andre Karolinko is another guy I would compare Cody Williams to. So like your Andre Karolinko's, your Jalen Williams. I don't think he's as good as those guys. He wasn't shooting as much as those guys. He's not as proven as those guys. I'm pretty sure he only played 1 year and only shot like 1 3 a game. So how much do I trust that 40%? But I also trust the games where he had a pretty nice stroke. You know what I mean? He seemed like he's a good role player. You know what I mean? Like a Paul George. Like if he becomes a really good like super role player, that's cool for him. But I do probably see him more of a Harrison Barnes. You know what I mean? But I think C-Dub is gonna be a good role player in the NBA for real. And if he becomes just really well at his craft, he could be one of the best role players in the league. He's a Swiss Army knife that could do it all. Kyle Filipowski, he is another guy who, hey, oh my God, I did it again. The Kings, the Jazz took Kyle late in the second round, which was honestly a steal in the draft. He kind of plays like a Spencer Hawes, if you know what I mean. A Spencer Hawes, that's a deep pool. Who else does Kyle play like? He plays like those like stretch fives that stretch fives like Andre Bargnani, those 6'10" for Bobby Portis, if he could rebound a little more. Bobby Portis isn't that bad, but like Kyle, Kyle isn't bad. And the Jazz, they got a couple of these guys already. Like he plays like Trey Lyles. No, Trey Lyles is perfect. Trey Lyles is yes, I love that. He plays like Trey Lyles. So like kind of like a good fit for them. And we're gonna see how he works out because he shot 3 threes a game at 35%. That's not bad. You know what I mean? He grabs like 9 rebounds, 8 rebounds a game. He's 6'11". Yeah. I like the Trey Lyles comp for him. Not a bad one. And yeah, it's not a bad player for this team. Jazz, they're a cool team. Larry Markkinen as a number 2 option, as a co-star. I like him. I love him actually. He's gonna fit next to anyone who you could find. It's just with all the assets that the Jazz have, all the things that they could do. Jazz fans, let's talk about it. Who is the guy? Like maybe like a Luka Doncic in a couple years. Let's say that Isaiah Collier becomes a hit. You know what I mean? Isaiah Collier becomes the next Tyrese Maxey, like I said, right? And then and then Taylor Hendricks stays like as this great player. And then you have a lineup of Luka, Keontae, Lowry, John Collins, and Walker Kessler. You know what I mean? That's cool. That's cool. What else could we do? You got who could be another star that makes this a contending team? Cooper Flag. You know what I mean? You bought him out and you just replace Taylor Hendricks with Cooper Flag. Yeah. Hey, you seen Cooper Flag, boy? Maybe you put Cooper Flag at shooting guard, man. Hey, why not? Keontae, you back at the point, man. Or hey, I don't know. I don't know what the Jazz do. Ace Bailey, what do the Jazz do? This is a team that, to me, they're kind of in a blank space right now, but they're closing their eyes and they're holding with their right hand Lauri Markkinen. You know why? Because he, like I'm keep on saying, you have him in one hand. All you need to do is find somebody else. And this team got a bunch of like role players and a bunch of assets to where they could allocate resources to build a contending team. It's just when are they going to do it? and who is it going to be? How long is it going to take? But right now, what they are, to me, is a bottom five team in the West that have a possible doomsday scenario where they land in that 11 to 15 range in the draft and don't get their pick. And they are back. And I'm going to be talking about the same exact roster next year because, they missed out on their pick. But we'll see what the Jazz have. Maybe the Jazz probably have other people first round picks also this year. But yeah, that'll be it for the Utah Jazz. A good team. I like their coaching staff. The Hardy, I'm pretty sure that's his name, right? Jeff Hardy, Jazz head coach Will Hardy. Yeah, Will Hardy. Who's Jeff Hardy? I don't know, but Will Hardy, good coach. Good coaching staff. They have a second option. It just comes down to that it factor, that number one, that wins you playoff games. Who is it gonna be for the Jazz? Devin Booker? Then maybe we live in a world where Devin Booker gets upset. Like, what would be the thing that gets the Jazz in legit playoff contention? I don't know what it would be. I don't know who it would be. Cade Cunningham? Hey, Cade Cunningham and Lauri Markkanen would actually be tough. Maybe Cade has another bad year and hey, I was on the worst team of all time. I made an all-star game. It's up. It's up. But I think Cade is too young for that. No, is he? I don't know who it will be. Yeah, maybe I'm prolonging this video, Jazz fans, and y'all should just let me know in the comment section who would y'all like in the comments. Let me know that below. And yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. God bless and have a nice day. We're currently at 220 subscribers, so if you can leave a like, comment, and subscribe, that would be highly appreciated. I'm done begging on the internet. Thank you everybody. Have a nice day. God bless.